Alright, ready? Okay. Okay, everybody, if I can have your attention, we're back somehow. Our next speaker is Mimi Frazier, and I didn't meet Mimi until probably about, 17 years ago. But I knew her father. Her father was a board member of an organization that I worked with for many, many years. And her father was one of the finest Christian men I've ever met in my life. His name was Wood Frazier. And he went to be with Florida a few years ago. And Walker Thompson, who was my earthly boss for 20-something years, preached the funeral and was one of the dry in the chapel or in the church that day. Anyway, Mimi, I met Mimi and she was missed. But she was God's miss, and God was doing a miracle. I was like, the first time I met her, I thought, God, if you can straighten this person out, you can even straighten me out. And so I am so happy to have Mimi. Mimi spoke a couple of years ago at one of our conferences when we were meeting at Crossbridge. But she's back here. She came all the way. Thank you so much, Mimi. She came all the way from Arkansas, where she is now a certified Christian counselor. And we're so happy and so thankful that she's here to share with us. Mimi, here you go.
I think Russell said it. The purpose of this illness is not death. The purpose of this illness is to glorify God.
Amen.
We're all talking heads. We've all got a lot of information. I'm not going to spout anything that is not coming from God. I have noticed I am a licensed professional counselor in the state of Arkansas, and I work with severe and persistent mental illness. And I saw the conference. I saw myself talk 2 years ago, and what I can tell you is I'm not the same person. I'm a lot harder because of the quarantine, because I am in charge of 105 paranoid schizophrenics that we have kept negative since March, and they're residential. The jadedness, the lines on my face is that humbling. And that's all I want to start and say. And I'm going to break it up with some songs. As I said, I'm a rescuer, so I'm going to keep it short because we do have some others that I'm looking forward to this year to hearing. I looked back on the conference when I spoke and I was horrified. We're all our own worst critics, but I said I'm way too soft and too sweet. And hopefully I'm not the other side right now, but I do have to tell you, he who exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. Amen. This was the hardest. There's somebody who needs to hear, and I'll be brief. Hardest spiritual warfare to get here, and I didn't want to come, to be honest, because of my ego. It was briefly, well, it's too far. I have to leave my patients for 3 days. I'm in control. I can't, they'll spin out. You know, I might have a few homicides or suicides. But it was the conviction of the Lord. And it's that soft, gentle nudging where he says, you need to go. And, well, wait a minute, I'm not the keynote. I'm not the keynote? Okay, hang on a minute. That's okay. I'll do it soon. No, you need to go. Well, I can't afford it. About a week ago, and of course I'm dealing with God, who is very strong in my life, who I listen to. And that is the only way I counsel. I've noticed, I'm looking at the different theories of counseling. Russell does CBT. He does cognitive behavioral, where he asks the questions. Are you breathing? Are you under a roof? Which is what I heard a lot. Then you still have reason to go on. Meaning, are you breathing? Kenny B, he's empirical research. I think that Jackie is more reality with facts. And I thought, well, no, I'm going to be reality. I'm going to come up here and do reality about the Lordship of Christ, the Lordship of God. I'm going to talk about the human side of us against that and humanity. One of the things I've learned when I counsel is I pray in my head, although I have all the theories, because literally I am dealing, and I hope it's not Zoom, I'm dealing with demonic spiritual warfare on a daily basis. And I'm their humbling their life. I stay way over time because somebody needs to talk. They have not seen their families. They have not had any visits. They're paranoid schizophrenic. They also have the dual diagnosis, most of them, of drug and alcohol, because schizophrenia hits at 18, classically. And what are you going to do at 18 when you're hearing voices or when you start getting paranoid? You're going to self-medicate. They don't realize until later that that's what they have, and that I'm dealing with half the families. The parents are harder than the 105 clients. That's not my child. No. And so I'm dealing with their diagnosis. Hang on a minute, because I need to pray. I do take them through the 12 steps, which I know by heart. Some of them. But they have to be stable first. They cannot be disoriented or thinking that they're Superman and they're going to climb up in the tree and fly while I'm trying to deal with, okay, let's go ahead and do the first step now. God, I just ask that you empty me out of anything that is me in my flesh. And I offer myself to thee, to build with me and do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me of the bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties, so that victory over them may bear witness to those I would serve of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. May I do thy will always. I also place the helmet of salvation on all of our heads. The sword of the Holy Spirit is in our hands. The breastplate of righteousness is on our chest, and the shield of faith is up, quenching every fiery dart of the enemy. The belt of truth is around our waist, and the gospel of the preparation of peace is on our feet. We are shrouded in the armor of God going forward today in Jesus' name. And I bind and cast the enemy away from anything except what you want me to say today, because I can be in my flesh sometimes. In Jesus' name. Amen. I have a temper. I have a lot of character defects that I'm very well aware of. One of them I was pointed out to in an email, that we are all egotistical, nutty people that are in recovery with this in an inferiority complex. I love it. I gotta use that. I gotta use that for others. I'm gonna start off with a song briefly. What I'm gonna talk about is music as a positive coping strategy, but I've got so many other, I think I'll just call this bullet points or bulletproof. This is my Celebrate Recovery song. Let me go ahead and let you know I am, as I said, an LPC in the state of Arkansas. Arkansas and Virginia are the hardest states to become a licensed professional counselor. I just became, where I'm on my own, I can have my own practice back in March, but I've been licensed as an LAC for 3 years. We are the facility in the state of Arkansas. We've got 9 all over Arkansas, but this is our long-term residential for abnormal psychology. So it's been a journey, but I love it. This song is when I was living back in Georgia, because after I left here, I lived in Georgia 5 years, and then in Arkansas for the past 6 years. In Georgia, I want to keep saying humbly, because I'm not bragging, but I was asked by Jensen Franklin from Kingdom Connection, from Free Chapel, to start his Celebrate Recovery. And I said, why are you picking me? And I did go and train under Rick Warren and did the leadership, and came back and brought it to and trained the leaders. But this song from Celebrate Recovery helped me so much. It's about relapse. It's called Undo by Rush of Fools. And before we started, take a deep. Before we started, my husband passed away 13 years ago this Monday here in Miami, and he overdosed from pain pills. He didn't ever do illicit drugs. It was an accident. But God keeps bringing me back on the anniversary of his death.
Wow.
He's a good guy. Some of you guys knew Daniel. But it was right after that I was at a place and I sang this song. I said, we've got to, Lord, help me. Help me. A year later, I realized I was not supposed to be a paralegal, which Russell helped me go and become. And I was a certified paralegal in Miami for Greenberg Torrey and some really good places. I said, I'm going to go back and be a counselor. Half the price, half the salary. My father, who was alive, said, what are you out of your mind? You're only going to make half the money. No. God's calling me. God's calling me to do this. It's my passion. And I haven't looked back since. So let's just play that. I get started, and again, we'll be brief because we got others coming. That's not it, is it? Yeah. Internship in grad school at Liberty University to be a professional counselor. I did my internship under a crisis unit. And my goal, my dream, because I have always heard God, one of the things I did, again, I want to talk about humility and just drive that home, was that I wrote this book that Universal Studios picked up and they wanted to make it a movie. I'm only bringing it up now because I have turned it down. I've turned it down because it was more important. And I don't even want anyone to read it anymore. It was more important to have privacy, to become a licensed counselor in a very small town where we've got this huge facility. And for my child, who was then in the 8th grade, to have peace, to go through that school without saying, look at her mama. So I've nixed it. I love what I do so much more than notoriety, fame, having some, Universal Studios, oh, it's a sin. It's a sin that you don't want to tell your story. No, I don't really like to tell my story. But when I did recover, and when the Lord did heal me, and I say there by the grace of God every single day, one of the things I told him was, hey, Revelations 12:11, if you ever ask me, which is, we defeated him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony, if you ever ask me to tell my story, I'll do it. Humility and the fear of the Lord bring wealth and honor and life. One thing to know, if you are brought up to be used by God, you will come against persecution. Spiritual warfare is real. And as a leader, you will be very lonely. What I see daily is I use music because my guys are hungry, they're starved, they're lonely, they don't have spirituality. And so I do 2 groups a day for 12, and then I see them individually on top of crisis interventions and treatment plans and intakes, discharges. And nobody can be discharged because we're quarantined. So it's been an ordeal. It's an open facility, they can't leave, but they run. They want to see their parents. They want to walk across the street to buy a Coke, and they can't. So we do takedowns. And humbly, I'm in charge. I'm in charge of 50 case managers, the medical team, all the parents calling, and I've got 5 crises going on at once, and I've got to make the call. Okay, which one? You guys take this one down, put this one one-on-one. He's coming in with me. Get the one up in the tree and call the paramedics. That one needs the police. Boom, boom, boom. Lord, how can you ask me to make these decisions? It has been experience, but it's also been gut instinct and discernment. Russell talked about, that really stood out to me, everything that Satan has planned for evil, God can turn around for your good in his glory. And I call it the 50-20 plan. That has always been my stance. Our place is secular. I wanted to be a drug and alcohol counselor. I knew that's what God had called me to do. In fact, I thought he wanted me to open my own facility and model it after Teen Challenge, but I don't like that because they can't take medicine, and some of my guys need medicine. But let's model it after that. Let's have a therapeutic community. Lord, I feel it. I'll do both. And halfway through, I'm on a crisis unit working as an intern in Georgia, and I'm led. I like this better. Crisis trauma. I'm currently EMDR trained and almost certified, so I'm dealing with war veterans there as well, and I take them back. And the stories I hear are horrific. But I pray every single day, Lord, how can I continue? How can I continue to be called by you and say what you say and hear what you have to tell me to do? Because it is that kind of discernment that you need. And that's where you humbly have to say, it is not me, it is you working through me. Back to what I was saying, my facility is secular, but my guys are on fire for God right now because I can't help it. In my groups, we're doing praise and worship. We're singing Kurt Franklin. They're doing musical dances because I got music in me because they need to keep kept going. I've got to keep the whole room going. It's like I said, if you're on my caseload, everybody's going to be at a Broadway musical. But that's what helps us and keeps us going. Mighty to save. I'll close out with something that I feel fiercely passionate about. And that is defending yourself. My father always told me, if you don't defend yourself, nobody else will. It's nice to hear about my past. I've already done my 4th step. So I have to encourage myself daily, on a daily basis, of who I am because of the persecution I have. When you are a leader, there are people that come against you every decision you make. If you are standing up for God, the persecution's going to come. I am dealing with people that are hearing voices, seeing things, and when 3 different clients tell me that they are seeing the same thing and they don't talk to each other, that's demonic. That's what I'm doing. How do I stay prayed up? I just remember who I am, but also I don't stay there. I am reminded daily who I am or who I was. I don't need that. I need to be encouraged. We all need to be encouraged. I told my patients last week, we don't wake up in a psych ward by accident. They know my story. It's what helps keep them going. I want to be just like Miss Mimi. I said, hey, some of you guys in this room can be helpers. Some of you can. I said, I see it. Not me, not me. Oh yeah. Because that's who can help somebody else if you've been there. If you have that compassion, I cannot turn someone away. I'm supposed to leave at 4. I'm there till 8, 9 o'clock. I don't call my mother. I don't call anybody because there's little faces in front of me that need to talk. And we do go through the 12 steps. They can and get off campus and they get drugs, and I'm dealing with that too. And saying, hang on a minute, I'm not just some little graduated degree. I know what you're going through. There by the grace of God go I. That's why I went back to be a counselor, because I need to see it in my face every day. But I don't need to be reminded. I don't need to be reminded. I know who I was. And I thank God daily of who I am now. That is not me. Old things are passed away, all things are new. Behold, I do a new thing. When you've got so much discouragement around you, we need to also encourage and have compassion and say, hey, atta girl. Can we play Mighty to Save? No one's better than anybody else. I work with the outcast every day. They're lepers. They're the best people I know. No longer a slave to fear. Russell has that on his email. It's one of my favorite songs. We sing it a lot where I work. Don't ever let anybody put you or anyone else in a box. It is good to always keep in mind, I've got it in front of my face daily, what we were, but also remember who you are in Him. And don't receive it. We beat ourselves up enough. I think that's the best thing I can leave with you all is, a prophet is not welcome in his own hometown. But I came back because somebody needed to hear this. I hate Miami. I actually like it now. I got off the plane and I was like, wait a minute, I'm so sick of Arkansas and the cows. I think I like Miami. But I ran because I was so afraid of what was here and the memories. And my dad loved Miami. My mother loves Miami. It's a good place. Wherever you go, there you are. But isn't it amazing what God can do? And I still believe that there is more. But just please, don't let anybody else beat you. Defend yourself. Thanks.